KREM 2 News begins now.
Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus. I'm Tim Pham. This is your KREM 2 News Week in Review. Join us as we take a closer look at some of the biggest stories in the inland Northwest this past week.
Well, no surprise here, our hot, dry conditions are the worst possible scenario right now for wildfire risk. And as we learned today, it is not just this dry stuff that's at risk of catching. We're only midway through July, but already Washington DNR is on alert to fight against a possibly devastating fire season.
While we are more prepared than ever before with more resources on the ground and in the air, the reality is we see more and more areas at risk of fire and more fires happening. It still challenges and tests all of our resources.
Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz says last year is a perfect example.
It tested everything.
The Gray and Oregon Road fires in Spokane County were just 2 of 17 fires started the same day, pushing resources to the limit. For now, Franz says fire crews are able to get on the ground or in the air within 30 minutes. Washington has seen 411 fires so far this summer, with the season's peak still weeks away.
About 163 of those are on the west side of the Cascades, and then another 248 are east of the Cascades.
The Pioneer Fire north of Lake Chelan presents a particular challenge. It's burned more than 20,000 acres since June and has moved from lake level to nearly 6,000 feet in elevation. Meteorologist Matthew Dare says this showcases possible fire behavior statewide.
Really, any forested area, any grassland area in the state, especially east of the Cascades, is ready to burn. It will support fires.
It's why DNR now prohibits burning on all of its nearly 13 million acres. Prepared, but proactively working to prevent another devastating year.
Nearly all of our fires, no surprise, this year have been caused by humans, from debris burning to fireworks to unattended campfires. And so we simply can't afford to be complacent or complicit.
DNR's burn ban runs through September, but it, of course, could be extended. And just a reminder, we are in mid-July, but it's August that is considered peak wildfire season. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Of course, I'm with Gabi Tilley as well. She's the expert I've been learning a lot from. And of course, Gabi, we can look around and we see all these beautiful plants. And we know, though, you all are the experts, the Friends of Manito. You do a lot of great work. What all goes into making sure you can preserve, especially when you get, triple-digit temperatures like what we have?
Well, water is the key to everything, right? But water in moderation. Not everything needs to have copious amounts of water. That's why you'll see these little dry flags in our plants. That's just to let the waterers know that these plants do not need as much water as the mates that are right next to them do.
Yeah.
And that is a big problem, actually. People think that once a leaf turns yellow, a lot of times that it's because it hasn't had enough water. It's actually trying to tell you that I've had too much water, back off.
Okay.
So
we might think, I guess, for some particular plants that they need all this water because it's so hot, but some don't actually need that, huh?
No, they don't like as much water. They do very well in a drier climate where there's less water.
But of course, others, you may have to move them to the shade and, may have to take them away from that direct sunlight, right?
Yes. And we can tell you all about that at our plant sale.
That's right. And the plant sale, it's coming up pretty soon, right?
Yes. So August 24th starts at 8 a.m. Come early. Don't forget your money. We take credit cards, cash, Apple Pay. We are into everything, and everything that you see in the yard or have seen is going to be for sale in the fall sale. We have shade plants, we have edible things, we have golden raspberries this year. We have drought tolerant plants, we have things that like a little more water, we have shrubs. We have a little bit of everything. There's a lot of things here that we have that you can't get at the big box store. So I would suggest coming. And then the other important thing, of course, is that the money stays in the park.
That's right. Yeah.
So, beautify the park. I know a lot of people come to visit. And where do they go? They come to Manito Park.
That's right. They come to Manito Park. It's beautiful, and you all do great work. So we appreciate you, Gabi.
wasn't an easy decision for Coeur d'Alene Mayor Jim Hammond to resign, but it's a decision he says was encouraged by not only his family, but his doctor as well. When you've devoted your life to something, it's not easy to let it go.
Well, I've always loved being a public servant.
Coeur d'Alene Mayor Jim Hammond spent the past 50 years serving the North Idaho community. He's now decided to step down from the city's top job.
Definitely miss you, sir.
Well, it goes both ways.
He's moving to Colorado to spend more time with family.
I think that I didn't always devote enough time to family. And at some point, you just got to say, well, that's enough, and move on, and that's what I'm doing.
Mayor Hammond is about 2 years into his 4-year term, but he hopes to leave office with a legacy of fighting for inclusion in Coeur d'Alene.
We welcome everyone to this community, and that's always been my focus. I wanted to have people always feel respected and that their point of view should be heard.
This isn't his first retirement. Hammond previously retired as the Post Falls City Administrator, as an Idaho State Senator, and then the Coeur d'Alene City Administrator.
I don't think retirement means what you think it means.
No, you're absolutely right. It's hard for me to retire, but I think this time it's going to stick.
He says it won't be easy to leave what he's devoted his life to.
She's been great.
Yeah, you've been a great boss, too.
Exchanging busy days as mayor for quality time as a grandfather is a decision his family and his oncologist are thrilled to hear. Hammond says pancreatic and prostate cancer runs in his family. He lost his father and 2 brothers to cancer.
I've had cancer since 99. I've been very fortunate to have the medical care to keep it at bay.
After decades of devoting his life to service, Hammond is now ready to begin letting go and devote time to his youngest grandchildren. Mayor Hammond's resignation will go into effect on August 31st. Then City Council will be tasked with filling his vacancy. The person selected for the mayoral position will only complete the remainder of Mayor Hammond's term, which expires in January 2026. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
The shocking moment was caught on Misty Pena's Ring doorbell camera, a man spraying bear spray at her as she stood at her front door. Misty Pena says she'd never seen them before, but they were asking for money.
I came out and the man said to me, we need the money. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, we need the money that you owe me. And I said, I don't even know you.
After saying they had the wrong person, Pena says 2 men bear sprayed both her and her 17-year-old daughter. She says her husband went to grab his gun when a 3rd man, associated with the 2, pulled out a pistol and shot at them.
On the side of the house, and he shot at my husband, and he hit the car.
The bullet struck the back windshield of their family car. As Pena says, the incident altogether lasted at most 2 minutes.
It happened so fast.
Happening fast as Spokane police arrived minutes later after the 3 men in question fled the scene. The incident has left her and her daughter in shock.
I feel pretty violated. It's pretty traumatic. My daughter's pretty upset. She's very fearful.
Wanting those she says assaulted and shot at her family to be held accountable.
That's not something that you should be doing, and they need to be held accountable for that.
Spokane police confirmed they are investigating the incident. Pena says officers on scene retrieved a bullet used by one of the 3 people in question as evidence. We'll continue following this story as it develops. In Spokane, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
With 3 weeks left to go until primary election night, time's running out for candidates to reveal their positions to voters.
5 out of the 6 Republican candidates running for Washington's 5th congressional district seat appeared Monday night for a candidate forum held by the Republicans of Spokane County. There are only a handful of the 11 people running to take over Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers' seat in the U.S. House of Representatives after she announced she wouldn't seek re-election. In comparison to previous appearances in front of voters, Monday night's forum felt more like a job interview. After a quick pitch to voters, each candidate answered different questions. Michael Baumgartner was asked what he considered the most challenging issue facing the country.
As I'd said in my open remarks, I think the highest priority in this country has to be securing the southern border.
When asked how he would cross the aisle, Rick Valentine Flynn stated Republicans need to be the ones pushing legislation they know has to be done, such as gun control.
We need to be the ones to take charge and take ownership of the laws we write. That way, we can ensure that the left doesn't push things too far.
When asked about what attributes she has that'll help as a legislator, Jacqueline Maycomer spoke about being able to get people in her party to work together.
And 40 Republicans can divide 58 Democrats anytime when you work together and define the issue.
When asked about his life experiences that would help in Congress, Brian Dansel expressed pride about where he's from.
Basically, just being an American in Eastern Washington and growing up and being raised by the greatest people on the face of the earth.
Finally, Renee Holiday spoke about some of her top priorities.
We've got border issues, voting and elections issues that are catastrophic right now, and also child trafficking.
The one candidate not at the forum was Jonathan Bingle. He was at the Spokane City Council meeting happening at the same time in downtown Spokane.
Primary election night takes place August 6th. Ballots go out to voters starting this Friday. Now the top two candidates in the primary will then go on to the general election. In the studio, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
With major budget cuts looming over the city of Spokane, the big question now is, will there be layoffs? Now, at this point, it's too soon to say, but it's not entirely off the table. The city of Spokane is searching for solutions to dig out of a $50 million budget deficit.
This has been a heavy lift that everybody has taken on.
Since the beginning of her term, Mayor Lisa Brown has held monthly budget meetings with City Council. She asked all city departments to see what impacts a 10% budget reduction would look like. City leaders are expected to review those impacts at the budget meeting on Thursday. Now, the mayor's office says potential reductions could include employee layoffs and renegotiated technology contracts.
Oh, it's a really, really difficult situation right now.
Councilmember Michael Cathcart supports the idea of layoffs. As the city's finance chair, he also recognizes layoffs are part of many difficult decisions that will balance the city's budget.
But if we're going to have layoffs, and I do believe that that's the only way we're going to solve this, the best thing we can do is to let our employees know now, so that they have adequate time to go seek other employment.
He does believe the number of layoffs could be reduced by renegotiating agreements with union partners. Meanwhile, the city department that reproduces and duplicates documents, written materials, and designs will be shut down. The mayor also already initiated 2 cabinet-level furlough days. Last week, City Council also approved a cost-saving measure to offer voluntary retirement to 25 Spokane police officers. The deadline to apply for the first incentive is August 1st. I spoke with the president of the union that represents Spokane City employees. He says the union has had no official conversations with the mayor or her staff about layoffs. Still, he says his members are concerned about the idea of losing their positions. In the newsroom, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
I spoke with many South Hill residents today, and while they tell me that they're used to a lot of wildlife in their front and backyards, especially during these summer months, one backyard got the glimpse of one type of animal that hasn't been reported in the area before. This is the type of wildlife South Hill residents are used to.
We love our turkeys. They come up and down our street probably once a week.
Avery Steers lived near Manito Park, used to safe, non-threatening wildlife.
The turkeys move really quickly down our street, so they don't really stick around all that long.
But this week, a sighting of a cougar caught on a South Hill resident's Ring doorbell camera near 14th and Grand brought a sense of shock, not just to residents, but to those in the field of fish and wildlife.
Especially in that kind of lower South Hill area, that would be the first actual confirmed cougar sighting that I have been aware of in probably the 3.5 years that I've been here.
Sergeant Tony Linetti with the Washington Fish and Wildlife Eastern Region says no other sightings of the cougar have been reported in the area. He goes on to say weather played a factor for this first occurrence.
With the high heats and everything else that's been going on, it's being so dry. The cats are always going to be moving at night anyways, but there's a lot of a deer that are coming in looking for food resources. And so the cat is obviously pursuing its food source of a deer.
And residents were surprised and concerned to hear about it.
It's definitely unsettling to have that in your neighborhood.
Unsettling, but Linetti says is a reminder as to how he and others with the department find dangerous animals that could pose a threat to someone.
You know, putting it out there social media wise, letting people be aware of it, that's all good things for the public to know about, that there was a confirmed sighting in that area.
Steer says that interaction wouldn't be as simple as letting her dogs near pests like the turkeys to get them away from her house.
I think I would probably call somebody else to get it and keep the animals inside.
Linetti says there is still not a lot of information as to how that cougar made it to this neighborhood, but emphasizes the use of doorbell cameras and that general awareness as the safest measures for people living in these areas to avoid any altercations with any wildlife that poses a threat. In Spokane, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Well, I am at the Ace Hardware on South Regal Street, and fire investigators are asking for your help identifying a group of people who has been setting fires behind the store. Take a look. Surveillance video from July 4th shows someone approach a pile of pallets, set them on fire, then stop to take pictures. It happened again July 11th, but this time the suspect brought friends. You can see one set fire to cardboard, then run back to join the group. Justin DeRuyter with Spokane Fire says while the fires were small, they're asking the public for help before the suspects cause more damage.
But we're just getting a little worried with the conditions coming up.
Wednesday's red flag warning and the dry fuels in our area mean any little spark could be disastrous.
We've got all the conditions right now for a big fire. That is a concern.
That's why fire investigators are asking for you to take a good look and call them if you recognize these suspects. DeRuyter says that's helped them before.
What most often catches these is people seeing something out of place, or they're driving by, they see some smoke. Take a look at who's around.
These same suspects are also believed to have started grass fires in the area.
Certainly if the intent is to be malicious, we definitely want to get those people off the streets.
Now, I did speak with the store manager. He didn't want to go on camera, but he did tell me that he hopes whoever is starting these fires stops before it becomes a serious problem. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
And so for him, we're just kind of getting in there right now, loosening up that quad.
At Summit Chiropractic and Sports Institute in Spokane Valley, Dr. Drew Lopez is doing what he loves, what he's good at.
So now we're going to get the upper part of that quad hip flexor.
He's working on Parker Bowden, a local track athlete who last month competed at the Olympic trials in the 110-meter hurdles. The two have worked together since Bowden was in middle school to keep him at the top of his game.
Everyone's able to do the work on the track or the weight room, but this is the stuff that I think is going to separate good performance from great performance.
Okay, bend your knee.
Lopez says he's always dreamed of working with athletes, and after years of work and volunteering, he'll soon be working with the world's best, a far cry from where he started more than a decade ago.
I did a lot of triathlons, a lot of 5Ks, marathons, and one year I saw that the Junior USA Track and Field Junior Olympics were going to be in town. I was like, that'd be kind of cool to go and volunteer at.
He kept volunteering, and the calls kept coming. Lopez eventually became the chair of the local USA Track and Field of the Inland Northwest Association. An invitation to a national meet followed, then the Pan American Junior Championships, the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow, and now the Olympics.
They just kept inviting me back and back, and now I'm the lead chiropractor for Team USA. So it's been a long journey, 2011 to 2024. But that had always been my goal, to be able to get to this stage and go to the Olympics.
Even more impressive when you consider where he started. Lopez immigrated to the U.S. when he was 11 years old. He says his family sacrificed everything to give him a better life. He went to school, opened a clinic, and established himself as a go-to chiropractor for the country's top athletes. So as he prepares for his trip to Paris, he says he's not nervous, but grateful and proud.
This country has been so amazing to us, and just to have this opportunity to give back to my country, right, new country, right, and just give back to the community and the one that raised me, really. It's an honor, man, to be able to represent Team USA, not only the country, but also the athletes and the medical staff and my family too, right? Because my parents sacrificed everything back home to be here. And so it is surreal, you know, that here I am, this immigrant coming in and doing all this stuff. Not only do I have to pinch myself, but you know, also have to realize that I'm not only making my dream come true, but also my parents that sacrificed everything, right? So it's just, it's much more than just going to the Olympics, you know what I mean?
Well, it's been known for a while now, but after 23 years of service in the athletic department, Ann McCoy was officially introduced as the 15th Director of Athletics in Washington State history, becoming just the first woman to ever hold this position.
I think for anybody sitting out there who has a chance to be the first at something, you know, it's important to know that those things do happen, and through hard work and through dedication and having a, you know, a dream and a goal, I think that those things can happen. So I'm both honored and really inspired by so many people, you know, prior to me, both men and women, that have taught me how to be the, you know, athletic administrator I am today.
Sometimes you got to take somebody who's got all the skills, and you got to give them that opportunity to step into that spotlight and show what they can do. But we got the right leader that's going to keep us moving positively forward and continue to make sure our student athletes have a stellar experience.
McCoy takes on this position in an era of uncertainty for Washington State amid conference realignment. She spoke about where that stands today.
I feel so excited about where Washington State University is right now. We are in a position where every one of our sports can continue to compete at a high level, compete for championships, to make everyone proud and to provide a phenomenal experience for our student athletes. Just because we're not talking about things real publicly right now doesn't mean there's not a lot happening.
McCoy also spoke about the need for WSU fans and alumni to continue to contribute to help WSU athletics.
Continuing to be a Power 5 athletic department, we need to show that our fan base is that as well, and we need you. We need you more than ever. I'm just so excited. I'm excited for our staff and all of our student athletes, and I'm so honored to have the responsibility.
Now we sit just a couple of weeks away from the beginning of football fall camp in this new era of WSU athletics with McCoy at the helm. For now, reporting in Pullman, Andrew Quinn, KREM 2 Sports. The Spokane Chiefs have named the franchise's new head coach. The Chiefs have tabbed Brad Lauer as the franchise's 16th head coach and the third head coach in the last 4 years. Lauer comes to Spokane with quite the resume. He is the WHL's all-time leader in winning percentage. He spent the last 2 years as an assistant coach of the NHL's Winnipeg Jets. Prior to that, he led the Edmonton Oil Kings to a WHL championship in the 2021 season and was named the WHL Coach of the Year in 2019. Lauer was also previously an assistant coach for the Anaheim Ducks, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Ottawa Senators. Lauer said he is thrilled to be a head coach again and spoke about how he hopes to find more consistency from a talented Chiefs roster.
We're not sacrificing defense. We're not giving up our zone in order to play the puck, in order to be in the offensive zone. And obviously, the biggest thing at this age level is not to complicate the game for the kids and just keep building it. You know, it's like building a puzzle. You know, you start with one piece and you work on that, and then you go to the other piece, you work on that, and then making sure that all these pieces that they're working on, they all become that puzzle that becomes a perfect picture that you want it to be, as the season goes along.
Chiefs General Manager Matt Bardsley says the Chiefs should be very competitive this season and believes Lauer is the right man to help the Chiefs win now.
I think someone like Brad can maximize the potential from our veteran players to our young players. So I think we can win now, but I think with where our team's at, I think we're in a cycle of our group where I think we can be very, very competitive and consistent for multiple years going forward.
The Chiefs begin the 2024 season on the road in Prince George on September 20th.
Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus for a look at some of the biggest news stories of the past week. For the most current news throughout the weekend, you can watch our latest newscast here on KREM 2 Plus. Just look for it at the bottom of the navigation menu. I'm Tim Pham. Thanks for watching.